So that's pretty bad. Now, we're also learning more about, totally switching topics now, we're learning more about the Vegas shooter. More information is coming out. There have been questions about the timeline because the casino hotel that he perpetrated, all of these acts from has a different timeline than the police had originally reported.
Huh.
And it is, at this point, assumed that theirs is actually a little more accurate. But there was some discussion about the fact that a security guard had gone up there because an alarm had been tripped. Evidently, one of the things that this guy did, I mean, he really
he dug in.
planned this out well.
Yeah, he scoped it out.
They had figured, they initially thought that he had checked in a few days before, but they've now discovered that he actually checked in almost a week previous because initially he checked in under his girlfriend's name and then a few days before changed the reservation to his own name. So he'd been up there for some time. Of course, he had access to the service elevator because he was a high roller, and this is how he was able to get all those weapons up there undetected. But on the day of the event, the day of the shooting, he not only placed cameras out in the hallways to make sure he would know when somebody did attempt to breach the room, but he had actually sealed himself off on that floor by jamming fire doors shut. And apparently it was by swinging one of these doors shut that it sounded some kind of an alarm, and so a security guard from inside the hotel was dispatched to go find out why this door was closed. He got up there and couldn't open that door, so he had to find another way onto that floor, onto the 32nd floor. And in so doing, getting around a different way, he was then caught on camera by the shooter, who then immediately shot him. And the hotel's timeline suggests that within 40 seconds of that, he began opening fire on the crowd. So apparently that was the thing. That was his motivation for beginning when he did, was because evidently he felt that he'd been discovered, and it was only a matter of time before
was up, so
somebody else was going to come and get him. They also know now, there were reports within the day of the shooting. There had been unconfirmed reports, but it has now been confirmed that he actually fired on very large fuel tanks that are in the area. Apparently, he attempted to
ignite them.
turn it into a big fireball, but evidently the tanks were well enough constructed that at the range that he was firing from, the bullets just bounced off and didn't penetrate the tank. Fortunately, because that could have been even worse.
Man, can you imagine?
Well,
it's a whole different kind of light show.
Yeah, the pandemonium alone, with a big explosion going off in the background and people are already hunkered down, there's bullets flying and nobody knows where it's coming from. Can you imagine a big fireball going off in the distance? And yeah, it could have been even worse than it turned out to be. Thankfully, it wasn't. There's also some evidence that suggests that he specifically targeted incoming police as they rolled up in, to code in their squad cars, lights and siren flashing. He targeted those police officers and began firing on their vehicles. So this guy had a grudge against a lot of people, evidently.
I don't know. It sounds to me like people were doing everything right. Like this guy, I don't know why he was given access to a service elevator as a civilian. That seems super weird.
That's apparently a perk of being a high roller. It's something that the casinos do quite frequently.
You get a private entrance, quote unquote,
basically,
so you can get in and out unseen by the cameras.
I don't think it's about being unseen by the cameras so much as it's a perk that you don't have to wait in line with the rest of the people.
Because
the
not
cattle.
as many people are using it.
Yeah, exactly. So
but also that's it seems like we have the things in place where people knew he was doing something jinky up there and tried to go up there and
But to be fair, this is Vegas. I mean, how often do they see some really weird stuff going down in Vegas? Think of all the times
basis,
that there's somebody shuffling bodies up and down those freight elevators all day long. Somebody's doing that.
Do we know that?
I know somebody's doing that. I mean, I don't know anybody who is doing
specifically that.
Yeah.
All right. So, okay, moving on, because I mean, I don't know what more you can say about that. Obviously, there will probably be more that they discover at some point. One of the things that they have also reinforced time and time again is that they have found no affiliations, no connections to any kind of organized terrorism or any kind of hate groups. This guy just acted as a lone wolf.
They still have not given a motive.
No.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. It seems like everybody was doing what they're supposed to do. This is the kind of a thing that you really can't avoid. There's no way to protect people against something like this.
No, and that goes back to the whole gun control thing that we talked about last week, that gun control wasn't going to stop this guy.
Nope, not at all. Or any other guy, as far as I'm concerned.
It can't not.
It can not.
It can't not? That's a double negative. What are you talking about?
Gun control can't not help this.
Yes, it
So
can't
wait,
help this.
you stayed silent last week, and now you're coming down on the side of gun control?
I'm not saying, yes, we have to take everybody's guns, but there has to be some more control over who has a gun
Well,
and how many guns they have.
I've